I'm making a video and gonna put it up on YouTube, and if it all works, maybe someone will see it. I consider myself a pretty ordinary person, but I've had a few extraordinary things happen to me in my life, and I wanted to make those videos to put it out there. And so this one is about a near-death experience I had when I was 6, maybe 7 years old, which would put that in 1958. That's kind of important because at that time, of course, there was no YouTube or internet or any of that stuff. Lucky if you had a black and white TV. And no one was talking to me about, so there's nothing on TV about any of this. No one's talking to me about near-death experiences, which is part of the reason this, I'm going to say, makes this experience very genuine. I don't watch near-death experiences on YouTube because everything on YouTube is clickbait. And if someone's uploading something like that, there are obviously channels that just deal with that. And after you tell maybe the genuine stories and you want to keep, making money on YouTube, I'd be concerned that maybe someone was just making stuff up as it goes. Although I'm sure there's plenty of, in fact, I know plenty of real experiences out there, and I'll get into a friend of mine towards the end of this video. Anyway, I was, like I say, 6 or 7 years old. I had pneumonia. I'm lying in my mom's bed. All my siblings had gone to school, and my mom was in the kitchen doing dishes. As I was lying in that bed, I was drowning in bed. My lungs were filled with water. I couldn't breathe. My lungs burned. I know I had a high fever. And so at a point I see a wall of white in front of me off the side of the bed. It's not like a cloud, but really more defined. And out of that wall of white, a face pushed out of it, and all I can say is it was just a beautiful face, undescribable really, and then a hand reached out, and when that hand came out, my spirit started leaving my body. And telepathically, I'll say, because no words were spoken during this whole experience. I was led to know that everything was okay, that I could be calm and relax. This was okay, and I felt that overwhelmingly, and that face, I'm going to say, told me that also, that I was all right. And so I'm laying in bed, and I'm watching my spirit actually leave my body. But at some point, I was my consciousness then was in that spirit, not in my body anymore. And I went into this whiteness, and there in that space, there were other beings, and I'm going to say not. They weren't ghost-like, but they didn't have as much definition. I know a lot of people experience seeing the glory of heaven kind of thing, and angels and all of that, and this didn't have that experience. A conversation took place, and it seemed like it was fairly long conversation between again, no words were spoken, all telepathically conveyed. and I never have known what was said, but I had a conversation, and then at the end of the conversation I was asked if I wanted to go with them or return. There was no fear, no pressure, nothing. There was no right or wrong choice. If I went with them, that was okay. If I went back to my body and my life, that was okay also. So at the end of that, I said, I want to go back. I want to return. And as soon as I had that thought, I was back in my body. The miraculous thing, and the thing that tells me that this was not just a hallucination or any such thing like that, when I was back in my body, I was well. Seemed just a little while ago I couldn't breathe. My lungs burned. It was very painful. I'm back in. I jumped out of bed. I didn't have any of that. That was all gone. So I jumped out of bed and I went to tell my mom, because this was such a extraordinary experience. I wanted to let her know what had just happened. So I, as I say, literally jumped out of bed. I ran towards the kitchen. My mother was there with her back towards me, and I was going to tell her, but again, I guess telepathically, or at least I knew that I wasn't supposed to tell her what had happened. And that was an overwhelming feeling also. So I didn't, and I just said, Mom, I'm better again. And she turned around and looked at me like my mom would, and put a finger out, shaking it at me, and said, you go back to bed, I'll tell you when you're better. Very typical of my mom. This experience stayed with me my whole life, and I didn't talk about it for the longest time, over 20 years. Although as a child in school, every time I made some art, and there was a sun in that art, I would keep trying to replicate that face, and of course I couldn't. But it stayed with me, but I never talked about it. I think I wasn't supposed to talk about it until I felt compelled to talk about it, and that came about a few times in my life. I think also maybe I was just supposed to have a regular childhood and not go around, hey, this wonderful whatever is out there and is happening, and I experienced it. That I think I was supposed to just have a childhood and save the experience for when it really mattered. And I think I was somewhere in my 20s. I'm actually a Vietnam vet, but not a combat vet. And I think when I was overseas, I wrote my mom and told her the story for the first time. I hadn't even told my wife or eventually my kids for quite some time, but I did tell my mom. The things that really make me feel, because I know in our brains there's this spot or spots that they call the God spot, and if it gets stimulated during some brain surgery or whatever, you have those experiences. You have experiences of seeing God, of seeing heaven, and if that was all this was, then I would have just blabbed to my mom that I had this great experience, hallucination or whatever I wouldn't have known as a child. I would have just done that, but I was not allowed to. Also, jumping out of my bed well after being deathly ill, that also tells me that this was a true experience. Now, I said I don't watch these sort of things on YouTube. I haven't wanted to I don't know, cloud my memory with someone else's experience and change what happened to me. But I know they're out there. Extraordinarily, I came upon a friend. We were both getting tires done up north of us here, and I had lost a grandson at the age of 17, and he knew it, and we both started talking about it, and he started relating an experience he had, and just so happens that he also felt a little compelled to put his experience on video and upload to YouTube, and I haven't checked it out. This is the way I like these experiences to come to me, is to hear someone tell me their experience. But he is uploaded to YouTube pw.magic. I haven't checked it out. Maybe you want to go ahead. So anyway, through my life, I really never spoke of this. When I really did was I had an experience. I walked the Camino Francis, and on that walk there were several times that I was talking with people on their trip and on their journey, and I related this experience to them, and I think those were the times that it really mattered. In particular, there were two young men, and yeah, young men. I'm old. I'm just about 75 now. Two young men from Australia. They were Aborigine and brothers. One was, we were just sat together randomly, and the one brother was very talkative and very happy to be on his journey. The other brother, you could see there was a dark cloud over him. He was not talking, and you could just sense that darkness. So I began telling the story to his brother, and by the end of that story, and one other which I'll relate in a different video, he completely changed. He was happy. He was enjoying his journey, and that's the time that I felt compelled to tell this story, and a few other times, but only a few other times, I think, in my entire life since that childhood experience. Maybe a dozen times have I related this, and each time I felt compelled to do so. So you can ask, why am I doing it now on YouTube? And I don't know if I can say I'm feeling compelled to do this, but I think my age has something to do with it, and I wanted to put it out there. Just if anyone were to come across these videos, and it would help them in life, in their sense of what's going on with all of this. Anyway, that's why I'm making this particular video. I think that's probably all I have to say about it. If you are hearing this, if you are watching this video, I'm going to tell you that there is more to life than what we experience. I have a couple of other extraordinary experiences that I will relate in future videos, probably the next two, and maybe that'll be the end of it. I don't know. I love this creek. This is a beautiful creek. There's usually a little more water in it. Well, all right. I think I've said all I can about it, and again, I hope if you watch it, it helps you. I know that I have never had a fear of death. Oh, maybe I fear how I might die. You know, no one wants to go in a fiery car crash, but I expect that it'll be the same as leaving my body when I was in all that pain there. That it'll be fine. But I know that there is more, and I don't fear death, and you shouldn't either. Okay, let's see if I can make this GoPro turn off, and that's what I'm using, by the way, is a GoPro, and I've had problems with the stabilization. Hopefully this one will come out nice and smooth. All right, goodbye. GoPro turn off.